Good evening and welcome to the Penfriends Podcast. My name is Caitlin.
And I'm Becca.
Hello everyone, welcome back to episode 6.
Woohoo!
We're on a roll. This is our second week in a row recording, god damn it. And I'm pretty excited. It's just been a stressful week for me, so I don't know how you've been. Tell me, how have you been?
It's been a stressful week for me
Yeah.
too. I've just been kind of like sick on and off, and then Thursday I ended up staying home from work because I could barely even get out of bed. And then I called in at like 6:40 and I went back to sleep and I didn't wake up until like 1 again. So I was like, okay. And then when I woke up and like got up, I realized I was like dressed for work and I had done my hair and I don't remember doing my hair. I remember getting dressed, obviously, but like I don't remember doing my hair at all. So I was like, okay, I think maybe I needed a day. But it's like one of those things where I feel weird about it too because I was getting a 4-day weekend anyway, so I'm like, could I have stuck it out? But then when I like basically didn't get up till the middle of the afternoon and I just lounged around for the rest of that day, I was like, I think I needed that. So
Yeah, definitely. You got a 4-day weekend? Do you have tomorrow off?
yeah, it's Columbus Day, which
is
is
that
apparently a federal holiday this year, so we're closed. But usually we don't have kids on Fridays, but this Friday we're gonna have the kids half a day.
Oh, okay.
And then the teachers work full day. So
Okay.
that's new. I'm interested to see how that works. I have a dance party planned. That's my
dance
fun thing.
party?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
My middle school teacher would sometimes on Fridays, it was my choir teacher, she taught us this dance to the Love Shack, which is probably a little racy for like 5-year-olds, but like to this day, because we did that dance so often, I could do the dance to the Love Shack.
Is it the one from Full House?
No, it's one she made up herself. No, I know which one you're doing because when I went to Emmett's wedding, that's the one that they did. They played Love Shack, and that's the one they did. And
that's
I was
not
like,
the one you did.
It's not the one I did growing up. It was it was. I'll show you sometime. We'll have our own dance party.
Please.
But yeah, no, I'm sorry you're not feeling so. I mean, you seem to be feeling better, and we kind of delay. We're recording on a Sunday night instead of Saturday night because your computer died yesterday too. So that's a little stressful.
Yeah, I don't know what
the
heck happened with that.
It
decided to update. That is like the only thing that I can think because it had been running slow, sure, but it's never crashed before. So I think that just everything I had could not handle the update. And I guess from what I was looking at, this new version, people have been struggling with it a little bit. So it wasn't just me that was having issues, but I was literally about to like take it in to the Apple store or something. Like I called my dad to kind of be like, my computer is broken and I'm not outwardly asking you for money, but like I don't know how to fix it. And he was like, just keep doing what you're doing. And I'm like, okay, Dad.
Thanks, Dad.
Shout out to my dad.
I'll shout out my dad too, because if you ever need any help like that, he can definitely give you advice because that's all he does. Like, if you ever come and visit, we could replace your battery because I think this is like I'm on my 3rd battery he's replaced for me. And it's, way cheaper than going to the Apple store and just doing it there. But yeah, no, Apple computers can sometimes be so finicky.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm glad I have a new phone now because my iPhone was just on its last legs and it doesn't even have legs. So
well, my dad's like an IT worker too, so I call him with computer stuff and then I'm always like, okay, what do I do? And he's like, just, I don't know. And I'm like, what? What do you get paid for?
Did you turn it off and turn it back on again like that?
Yeah, really though. Because then he was like, can you access any of your stuff? And I was like, no, I think I'm past that, Dad. And he's like, you're gonna lose everything? And I'm like, I think I already have.
So, my mind, my computer.
And then I was texting Moira And because she Snapchatted me a picture of her and Marie-Lise, and I thought that the background was at my dad's house. So I was like, where is my dad? Because I've been trying to contact him for like over an hour, and it wasn't. They just must have similar lamps or something. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. But she was like, he's mowing his lawn. He's told me he was gonna mow his lawn at noon, and I looked at the time and it was 2:30, and I was like, does it typically take him 2.5 hours to do his lawn? And then Myra goes, yeah, sometimes a little more. He's a little extra.
He's taking clippers and like going along the sidewalks. He
Well,
went to his
he
neighbors and mowed
was.
their lawns.
Yeah, he was weed whacking with his thing, the
Uh-huh.
weed whacker. I
The
don't
weed
know.
whacker.
Is that what they're called?
Yeah, that's what they're called,
Oh,
Becca.
okay. And he was like going around his backyard and he has this rose bush that was his dad's, and his
Oh.
friend, when he went down to Florida, like had it shipped from our old house. Like his friend went and like dug it up at the old house and mailed it to my dad
No
down in
way.
Florida. And it survived the hurricane and everything. And my dad was weed
Oh.
whacking and whacked off like the main stalk of the rose bush.
Oh
And I was like,
no.
oh my God,
Oh.
you can't fix my computer. You can't fix your garden.
Ooh, the shade being thrown at your dad right now. Oh. Oh, he's a good guy. My dad has been avoiding mowing. How did this turn into a dad episode? I don't know. Happy Father's Day. We didn't have a Father's Day episode, so this is a
Oh my
Father's Day
God.
episode.
That was
Um,
reminding us too, because actually that's funny that you said that. Me and Josh were in Florida over Father's Day, and we went to Disney World, yeah, that weekend, and we came back on Father's Day, and we had like a lunch
mhm.
um reservation. I was gonna say appointment. That's not the word for it. We had a lunch reservation at a really nice place. So like me and Myra and Josh, like we're all getting ready, and my dad walks in the door in a panic and starts just saying, I gotta do my lawn. I gotta cut my grass. I gotta do the lawn. And we were like, what?
We have an appointment. We gotta keep Dad. We gotta go get food. Uh, oh man. Yeah, no, we've been my mom and I have been working hard on the show, and so I never see my dad. I went to the theater today. He went to go see a movie and hang out with his friends. So, I mean, eventually I'll like hang out with my father again, but my mom and I are working on the show we're doing. Did I tell you what show we're doing right now? It's Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, yeah, it's going really well so far, and so I have to keep reminding myself that like this is a community theater, and and so like we run differently than other theaters that I've worked with professionally, and even at the university level. Like these are people who have 9 to 5 jobs, and then like at 6 o'clock come for 3 hours and dance and sing and do the show. They're not students at university who can come between classes and like do a fitting, or they're not the
Mhm.
actors who are living in Ohio over the summer and have nothing else to do but that. So it's kind of been difficult because they have the 3 hour or 4 hour chunks of rehearsal, and it's all music, and a lot of people are in all of the scenes
Oh.
and playing multiple characters and stuff like that. So it's really hard to pull people aside just to get a fitting. So tomorrow night we're having our costume parade, which is going to also be like mass fittings for everyone because we haven't been
Yeah.
able to fit anything to anyone and see if these costumes actually fit. So it's going to be a long night tomorrow, but thankfully our good friend Wyatt, he lives like half hour away from me now. He's going to come in and like help us out with fittings and stuff and just take notes, because honestly we just need the bodies to like help control these people, because it's not a big cast but it's a lot of people. And
Yeah.
so and they're gonna have a lot of questions because most of them have never even seen what they're about to wear. You
Oh
know
my
what I mean?
gosh. When
Like,
does
I
the
mean, we
show open?
in a few weeks, I want to say in
Oh,
about a month.
okay.
So we're in pretty good shape. We have a lot of it done. So it's just going to be a lot of alterations from here on out, and making some things that we just haven't had time for, but it's a lot of accessories. So like I don't know, but like sometimes I'll get like a little frustrated about something, and my mom has to just pull me aside and just remind me like these people are not actors for a living. We love them very much, and they're very, they're very professional, and a lot of them are good at what they do. But then I'm also working with like 5-year-olds who are kids. It's just like, um, my mom has to pull me aside sometimes and just remind me like, you're gonna go off to Midland, and you're gonna be working with professional people who do this for a living again. And I know I'm not a professional, but I was like, you're the closest thing here to a professional. And anyway, I don't know. So it's been kind of stressful, but it's nice having me home so I can work during the day, because my mom also has a 9 to 5 job. She's teaching, so it's more like a 6 a.m. to a 4 p.m. job.
Yeah.
But yeah. So there's a lot, but it looks really cool. I'm really excited. Do you know the show at all, Joseph?
Not really.
Well, you know the story of Joseph.
Yeah.
So like Mrs. Potiphar, who's like the seductress of the show, basically. I had to make like a sexy Egyptian outfit. Like my mom had me design that. Oh yeah. Well, sexy is like, I don't know, there are slits in her dress for her legs to show out. So she's sparkly and gold. Anyway, so that's what my week's gonna be. All these next few weeks is me talking about the show. But if you guys want to come down and see it, we should definitely do that.
Yeah.
If you're free, at least.
And the listeners too.
Oh yes, any listeners who want to come and see the show.
You just like vaguely said, so if you guys want to come and see it.
Oh, when I said you guys, I meant you and Josh.
I know what you meant.
Oh yeah. No, but anyone wants to hit me up for tickets to see a community production of Joseph, just at @so_Caitlin. That's my Twitter. Just hit up my DMs.
Slide into those DMs.
Slide in those DMs for the ticket deals.
Tickets.
I get no discounts on these tickets, I don't think, even, so don't, as working on the production, so it's not a great deal, but yeah.
It's a deal nonetheless.
It's a deal nonetheless, right? Oh my gosh, yeah, but I'm excited to see Wyatt tomorrow, so
yeah.
we'll Snapchat you guys.
Please do, because I'll just be sitting here still trying to make my sore throat go away, but...
Oh, you're taking... Oh, right, because you're not going to school tomorrow. That's so weird, because my parents have school. So
yeah.
It must just be...
And my friend Skyla, who works for Head Start in Lansing, they also have school tomorrow. She's like, it's not a government holiday. I'm like, really? Because they told us it was.
They just wanted the day off, and they're using Columbus for a scapegoat.
Sometimes I wonder.
It's Arbor Day. Go out and plant a tree. School's out. Like... Arbor Day. Isn't Arbor Day there? No, I was giving another example of a bullshit holiday that you could take off school for.
Hey, Arbor Day is very important for our environment, Caitlin.
Is it Arbor Day? Am I thinking Earth Day? Do you plant a tree on Earth Day? No, you plant a tree on Arbor Day.
Arbor Day is for trees. Earth Day is for the environment more broadly. But Arbor Day, I think, is specifically for trees.
The tree day. School's out. Go plant a tree. Anyway.
We have a school on Arbor Day.
Yeah, I know. Not your school. Your school's gonna take off like National Ice Cream Day. Go to Dairy Queen.
I mean, maybe.
Oh man. No, so we had dinner, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is just disappointing, and it happened like an hour ago. So my dad was like, hey, can you go grab me a drumstick from the fridge? And I was like, oh cool. I don't eat drumsticks, but my mom got some without the nuts on them. I don't eat nuts.
Oh.
Yeah, you could laugh about it. Caitlin doesn't eat nuts. That's what everyone says. That's literally the joke everyone makes. Oh, Caitlin doesn't like nuts.
Because our friends are 5.
Because our friends are sick. There's 6 senses of humor. So I give my dad a drumstick, and I'm like looking at the last drumstick. But my mom says, oh, I think we have my Weight Watchers fudgesicles, which are really good.
I like fudgesicles.
The Weight Watchers ones, they're only 1 point, because they're a point system. Like you're a role-playing character. It's a point system. No, but I look in the fridge and I'm scouring past like the fries and stuff, and I cannot find these fudgesicles. I was like, Mom, I think we're out. And I gave Dad the last drumstick. So the point is I haven't had ice cream today. So All right.
So like about this Weight Watchers, if
Yeah.
if you like meet your points or whatever for the week, I don't know how it works. Do you level up to like the next character, like a mage or something?
Well, okay. No, it's kind of cool actually. Well, okay, Weight Watchers is kind of cool. So you set your goal, right? My mom's been going for a while. So you have your goal. So she say you want to lose 20 pounds, right? And so the points are for the food, and you have a certain number of points for the week or whatever, and then you have like extra points. Maybe it's for the day. You have so many points for the day, I think. And
Mhm.
then each food has the pointage, and then you get your extra points, which is like, I want to eat this Twix bar. That's 3 points out of my extra points, things like that. And so you actually do, once you start making like, oh, I lost 5 pounds, they send you a charm, and then you collect charms. So it's
Oh,
kind of
cool.
like leveling up.
Yeah, there you go.
you get
It's
you
like
get your amulet.
being a Girl Scout for
Yeah.
weight loss.
Girl Scouts for weight loss. That's great.
I
um
earned my 10-pound badge.
but then once you reach your goal and you like stay at that goal
Weight,
level, like
yeah.
you stay at that way for a week, then you become your lifetime member, and then you don't have to pay for the meetings anymore. So
That
that's
is
like
cool.
max level. Yeah, my
Yeah,
mom's
that's like
friend
the max
just,
level of
yeah.
Weight
Then you have to
Watching
choose a
gameplay.
different class. Hey guys, welcome back to my Let's Play. Today I'm gonna
That's bad.
unbox. I'm sorry. No, my mom's been doing it. She's been doing really good about losing weight, and
That's good.
so I've been trying my hardest to kind of follow along. I don't go to the meetings with her. Like, she goes every Saturday to get weighed in, but I don't do that. I don't know
Hmm.
how we went from talking about dads to complaining about ice cream to talking about Weight Watchers. So the Weight Watchers,
We'll
my
get on to
recommendation for
our
the week.
topic, which is
Yeah, basically.
way different from anything we've been
Yeah, Becca,
talking about thus far.
what are we talking about this week, Becca?
I wanted, since it's October, I wanted to talk about something kind of scary, but it's not that scary. I watch a lot of horror on
Mhm.
TV, and I watched a lot of scary movies over the years and read scary books. It's just kind of what I do.
And I don't
Well, I'm
do
a
that at all.
relatively quiet person, so I feel like some people are really surprised, and I'm like, I love a good gory movie,
Right,
but
yeah.
I wanted to talk about like I don't even know how to explain it. Like, is horror going too far? Like, where is the line? Type
Right, yeah,
thing.
the limits that horror can take and
Yeah.
crossing that line. Yeah, because I mean, I'm glad at least you partake in the horror
Mhm.
aspect of things, because I don't. And so you're definitely going to be like, everything's pushing the limit for me when it comes to horror movies. And
Yeah, like
so
everything. Like,
yeah.
what is your personal, like, if you were to sit down and partake, what is too much? How much is too much?
Okay, see, I can do with a little bit of psychological horror. I
Mhm.
really don't like jump scares, and that's like the simplest thing in any sort of
Yeah.
horror movie, but like jump scares scare me too much.
I
I
don't
already
like jump scares either, but like
yeah.
I I've just kind of accepted that they're part of the
Mhm.
package when it comes to
Yeah.
horror. That's just like a staple. So what I'm thinking more of is um, like back, I started watching scary movies when I was in middle school. And before that, like I didn't like anything horror. And then I started like I watched The Grudge with my dad, and we made it like
Mhm.
fun because we would imitate the noise and stuff and just like freak each other out, and like we got really good at it, and my mom would yell at us. But then, like, when I got a little older, I decided that I wanted to try the Saw movies, which, like,
Mhm.
at the time when they were just coming out and stuff, that was like too much for people because
Oh
it
yeah.
seemed like senseless gore. But when you get in and actually watch the movies, there's an underlying plot that makes them more psychological and less gory.
Right.
So once I started watching those, I was like, okay, this isn't even that bad. But then there was like some movies that I could not do. Like I had to turn off um I think it's called House of Wax. Is that there
God,
was
that already
like
scare sounds bad.
yeah, there was one, it was a remake. It was like the not even recent because it was back in like middle school. There was a remake and we wanted to watch it, but it me and my friend wanted to watch it, but it got like really bad, gory that like I couldn't handle. So we turned it off. So like that was too much, but now I don't even know what my limit is, I guess, because I've been watching American Horror Story,
Mm-hmm.
and this past week's episode was like I was getting nauseous when I was watching it, and that has never happened when I've watched any of the Saw movies, when I've watched any of anything. So I feel like this past week's episode really pushed it in
Yeah.
terms of like the level of disturbing and intensity that it got to, but I'm interested to see this coming week's episode because it was supposed to open with, have you heard about this?
No.
It was supposed to open with a mass shooting scene. And so it's getting a lot of controversy. Are they going to pull it? Are they not?
Right, because of what happened in Las Vegas.
Yeah, unfortunately. And I mean, the show obviously was shot and conceptualized way before anything. So that is Ryan Murphy's argument is that like he feels like he has, the right to show it if he wants to, but he actually went back and edited it so that it's less graphic than it was originally intended to be. So now I'm like, well,
Wow.
what the heck does Ryan Murphy constitute as less graphic, when it comes to some of the stuff on the show? So, yeah.
Yeah, we started watching American Horror Story, and I got through the first two seasons, and like I could watch those. That was way more psychological than anything. But
Yeah.
like for what you've been telling me about this past season and some of the stuff I've seen, like I don't have TV, so I can't watch it currently. But if it gets up on Netflix eventually, I'll probably watch it because I think what the most scary thing about it is that it's taking place in the most modern setting that they've had. Like
Yeah.
Trump was just elected, modern
Yeah.
setting, and so like this is real, and I think that's what makes it the most scary is that he conceptualized this mass shooting scene because that's what's been happening,
Yeah.
and it
That
just
is
yeah.
really interesting. Yeah, that's really interesting too, because I mean, even in the first season with Murder House, he had the school shooting scene.
Mm-hmm.
So I almost wonder like what Evan Peters thinks of all of this since he keeps being like the character to do all of these things season after season. You know what I mean? Like I wonder how he separates it for himself,
Yeah,
because
that
that
takes a
has to be
lot
really
to
intense.
yeah. Oh, I'm sure because it takes a lot to get into that mindset of someone who does these horrible things and then to have to get back out of it to be a
Yeah.
normal person. But that's acting. I mean, that's
Yeah, that's true. Because
yeah.
I've been reading a lot of interviews for him because this season is really interesting to me because it's cult. So it's all about the hive mentality. So throughout the season, now that we're deep into it, Evan Peters is going to start portraying some famous cult leaders from over the years. So like he's had to do deep research on like Charles Manson
Mm-hmm.
and Andy Warhol? That was interesting. That was an interesting article to read about because I didn't really know that much about Andy Warhol. So now
Yeah.
I'm interested to see where they take that. But yeah, he's going to be portraying a bunch of different cult leaders. So I don't know. It's just crazy because it's like more manipulative
Mm-hmm.
his character is than anything else that I've seen him as. But this season it makes the first two seasons look like a freaking walk in the park compared to anything. It's just
Right.
crazy.
Yeah.
It's bad. Like it is It's really bad. And this last week alone, spoiler alert, they had they were like torturing this guy and took turns with like an industrial nail gun, like shooting this guy in the head. So it was, and they showed like each and every person, and I almost threw up. Because I was like, this is too much.
Yeah,
So
especially
I
for
don't,
something that's like on TV.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm really surprised not only that they can get away with the storyline overall of it being like legitly calling Trump out by name, like being set in like this election, and there's been no commentary on it, which I mean that's whatever. But then there have been several times over the course of the series that I have been like, I cannot believe that this is on TV. Now, granted, it's not just like a regular channel. Like
Right,
you have
yeah.
to like have the channel or
Mhm.
whatever. But
What does it air
I
on?
don't know. Huh?
What channel is it on?
FX.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, what that, we're talking about the tolerance of horror and gore, especially on television and in movies, and then we're not okay seeing gay people on the screen,
Yes.
and like we're not
It is so
okay with
strange.
seeing a whole bunch of other stuff that should just completely be normalized. But you know what we can't normalize? Shooting people in the head with nail guns. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, that's
Yeah,
so
that's like the
crazy.
craziest thing. I mean, I've seen 7 Saw movies where like each one gorier than the last, but for some reason I could not barely stomach watching 8, 9 people one by one shoot some random character that I don't even know who it was in the head with a nail gun. So I'm like, am I getting like, is this too far or is it just me? I don't know where
Yeah,
the line is. I don't
I
know.
don't know. I don't think there is a line. I mean, I don't know. See, I have no
Mhm.
examples to
Mhm.
bring up because I don't watch it at all. And so it
Yeah.
just because I come up with my own images in my head of my own horrors just because I'm not all mentally there, but it's okay. And so I can't deal with seeing anything realized even if I know it's fake. To me it's
Yeah.
not. Like even haunted houses, like
Yeah.
I can't I know it's a mask, but at the same time their job is to scare the shit out of you, and even
Mhm.
some haunted houses will have you sign waivers so they can take you away from your group and do other stuff to you or touch you or do any of that
Yeah.
stuff, and I'm like, that's insane. That's like, I mean, some
That's something I
people,
wanted to talk about too, because
yeah.
that's actually a lot of people find it really interesting. I know that I've had it in the past where it's like I I mean the Saw franchise, those are like some of my favorite movies, but I know Josh is like irritated because it's his first time being in, my hometown for Halloween, and there's a really great haunted house that I've, talked about for years. And then he's excited to go, and I'm like, I am not going. Like, I cannot do haunted houses because I feel like it's one thing to sit and, watch something on a screen, and then it's another to be immersed in it.
Mhm.
And that is like too much for me.
Yeah.
But the one we go to, like, I've gone to it in the past. I have gone a couple of times, and I would love to work there, but I don't know. It's not one where they can touch you or anything like that, but yeah, I don't know how popular those kinds of haunted houses are now.
I
Do
have
you
no
know?
idea.
I
No
don't know.
idea.
I know that they were like really popular years ago. I used to like watch shows on them and stuff,
Mhm.
but I don't know if they've like fallen out of popularity, but I remember it seemed like every year there was like a new haunted house that was like more intense than the year before. So I feel like as the years go on and like when it comes to scary movies, haunted houses, anything like that, like you always the only way you're going to be able to stand out is if you're more intense than the one before.
Yeah.
So that's like really interesting too.
Yeah, I think for people who enjoy going to those things and going through them, it, you really have to be a fan, and you really have to be secure in the fact that you know it's fake. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Like, it, or maybe not. I don't know. Like,
Well, I
but
mean,
I
some
think
of
it's an
them do
adrenaline thing.
like some psychological type stuff. Some of the ones that you have to sign waivers for, they can, bury you. They can, reenact kidnappings, and they can really go as far as they want because you sign that waiver, and that is terrifying because you don't know, like, what, I don't know, like, you just don't know what's gonna push someone over the edge.
The Halloween episode of crime shows is always someone accidentally getting killed in a haunted house. So
Mhm.
I don't want to be the next CSI episode. Like, I don't
No.
you know. And of course those are like super fake cuz it's a TV show. But like
Yeah.
it, yeah, it just doesn't. No, I'm not a fan. Now, what I do, even though I say I'm not a fan, I do torture myself and enjoy watching Let's Plays of video games that are horror
Yeah.
based. Like, I'll watch whoever play a scary game.
Mhm.
Um, because I know I can pause it, and it's like a third party. It's like I'm
I
seeing
was
someone
gonna
else
say
play it,
that.
and so I
Yeah.
know that they're just as scared as me, and I can pause that whatever I want and just come back to it. I usually watch them during the day too, so I'm not as terrified. But
Mhm.
I like a good horror game because
Yeah.
I can appreciate like a lot of stuff. Like was it Resident Evil? Was it the new Resident Evil game? I was watching a
Sure.
few people play that.
I
You're
don't
like,
know.
I
Were
don't know
you?
either. I don't know, like when Slender came out, I almost played Slender, but then I got too scared. So
Well,
I
you did
played.
really good when we played Until Dawn, and that
I love
is
Until
was a
Dawn. See,
really
that was a
scary game.
really good game. That was
It
a
was a
really good
really well
game.
done game, but that's a creepy game.
Mhm. I feel like I would do well with a few other like some of my favorite horror games are like these 2D pixelated ones that are made on RPG
Yeah.
Maker, like Ib. Have you ever heard of Ib?
I think you told me about it.
Ib and Witch's House and oh, there's a third one where the dad's an evil scientist. I forgot the name of that one. But those games are really good because it's like so cartoony that
Yeah, but
I
it's so
can,
good. I think
yeah.
I must have watched Markiplier play
He's played
some of
those
them
games,
because you
yeah.
were telling me about and there's still one that I'm trying to get through. I couldn't tell you the name of it if I tried. I don't even know. I don't remember. But I'm still trying to work my way through it because I'll forget about it and then be like, oh yeah, I wanted to watch that. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
no, I
like
like those kinds of
watching.
games.
Mhm.
Yeah. Now, for me, zombies are a different genre of horror that I can do. Like, I used to be a huge fan of
Oh
Walking
yeah.
Dead, and then I stopped watching it because I don't know. I don't know if I stopped liking it for the writing or if I just stopped watching it because I just stopped watching it. But I was a good fan of Walking Dead, and they do some stuff there too, but it's not as scary
Mhm.
as stuff. But I watched like the best zombie movie ever over the summer, and it's in Korean. But
Of
I'm gonna
course it
say
is.
right now, okay, but I'm gonna say right now, I was not the one who picked out this movie. My friends picked
Oh.
out this movie, and it just was happened to be a Korean movie, and they're like, "Oh, we know you would show up eventually because it's a Korean movie." I'm like, first of all, fuck you. Second of all, I would not have picked this out for myself because it's a zombie movie, but it's called The Last Train to Busan. You
Mhm.
would really like this movie. It was some of the best zombie acting I think I've ever seen because the zombies in this movie are like really particular in the way that they move, and the makeup was
Ooh.
really good. Like it was like the way the zombies work in this film is like a little bit different than what I've seen. Like their sight, this isn't a spoiler, like their sight is gone and they can't sense anything when it's dark. And so they use
Oh.
that to their advantage because all these people are stuck on a train in which
Mhm.
zombies are also on. And so they have to somehow get by them and like, would do whatever. So it was a really good movie. It was mostly sad, but I would recommend it if you want to watch a zombie movie. But like one of the scenes, it was the most intense scene in the film, was like some YouTube channel rated it the top horror scene for whatever year it came out. Like
Oh.
it was like the best, and it was a really good zombie chase scene or whatever. But I don't know, I just really liked that movie. And so zombies for me I can do, but like I don't know, it's
So
just
what is it about zombies that you can do but other genres of horror that you can't? Do you not buy into the possibility of a zombie apocalypse?
I like the face you just gave me. They're like, oh, Caitlin, we're debunking Caitlin's theories of her mind. No, I mean, definitely zombies still scare me as a possibility, because if Canada has a plan for zombie apocalypse, then we also should have a plan. I'm pretty sure, wasn't that a thing? That
I don't
the
know.
Canadian Parliament has like, maybe I'm making this up. If I'm please call me out. But I thought the Canadian Parliament had like some plans in place in case zombies became a thing.
Did you see that on Facebook?
I don't know where I saw it, but it was a few years ago. I feel like I should fact check myself. Should I
Well,
ask
I was
Siri?
actually just watching Face Off and they did their spotlight challenge on, it was like their zombie challenge,
Mm-hmm.
but the focus of it, or the inspiration of it, was because of um this group of like, not funguses, insects. Is it funguses? I don't know,
Fungi?
fungi. Um, insects that can like invade other insects as like parasitic, and then they take over their nervous system and like erupt from their bodies.
What the
And
fuck?
so instead of doing like insects, it was different fungi. So that was like freaking me out a little bit because apparently that could happen, but the fungi itself was not like poisonous type of thing.
Oh,
But
okay.
I don't know how
I'm gonna
to
have to watch
explain
that
it.
Face Off episode because I always like watching shows like that.
I love Face
Um,
Off. But that is one where I feel like the earlier seasons, they pushed the makeup way far, and I used to love like the horror and like the darkness and everything. And now they don't hardly ever do any that are like
but do you think
horror.
that's the challenges themselves, or do you think that's the makeup artists themselves?
Both a little, because
Yeah,
for some of the challenges I'm like, oh my god, this is gonna be great, and then it does not go in the direction that like I
they
would think
wanted to
that it
go.
would go
Yeah.
in. Yeah. So
Um, no, I'm pretty sure there are probably some zombie movies out there that I couldn't do. Like, isn't I'm thinking of one right now, but I can't think of the title that I think. God damn it. Never mind. I can't make my point because I can't remember the name of the movie, but I'm pretty sure there would be some. I don't know what it is about zombies that are okay with me, but I'm pretty sure there are going to be some zombie movies out there that I could not watch.
mhm.
I
Because
don't
I know
know.
when I got really into scary movies, like at the peak, the only ones that I would ever reach for are ones that dealt with like possession, like demonic
Yeah.
possession. And
Well,
I
fuck,
think
your
it's
favorite books are
because,
those.
well, it's probably because I was raised Catholic. So that is like
Oh.
always really intriguing to me. But
Mhm.
then it got to the point my freshman year of college where my roommate just made like an offhanded comment, like not thinking anything of it. But after she made this comment, I did not watch another scary movie for like 2 years because she was like, she must have noticed that those are like the only movies I watch because she was like, I'm gonna come home like in the middle of the night or like wake up in the middle of the night and you're just gonna be like crawling up the wall, aren't you? And I was like, I'm gonna get possessed, so this needs to stop.
So you stopped watching horror movies because of the fear that you were going to get possessed?
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
It's
It's a
still like my favorite genre of
yeah.
scary movies though, and if I see like a commercial for a really good looking one, I'm like, I might have to check that out. But also the
Yeah.
books I read, I really like reading scary books with a paranormal element rather than just like a supernatural like vampires or zombies or something. I'm like, does somebody get possessed? Yes or no?
Well, you love the Merciless?
Yes.
You love those books so much, and maybe it's early enough in the month I could probably read the first one.
It's not that bad.
Yeah.
They're really not that bad. I mean, okay. It kind of depends on, again, like where your line is and what sort of topics um bug you,
Mm-hmm.
because I have a really weird thing with like fingernails and toenails. Like I keep my nails short because I'm afraid that if I grow them long, I could like snap my fingernail like clean off. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know why. I have like this weird like thing with fingernails. And so there is like a torture scene in The Merciless where they pull off the girl's fingernails, and I had to put the book down
Ooh.
because because I saw it coming, and I'm like, they're gonna freaking do it, and this is like the first scary book that I've ever read, and they're gonna do the one thing that I cannot handle at all, and I had to like put the book down, and like I think I just sat there for a while, and I like got up and walked around because that was like another thing that I was thinking about today too. I was filming a video where it was like different spooky topics presented, and like would you rather read a book with vampires or werewolves, like type thing. But
Mm.
one of them was like, would you rather watch a scary movie or read a scary book? And I said that even though I love doing both of them, I feel like I get more enjoyment now out of reading scary books because I'm choosing to continue on with it. Like I'm doing it to myself almost, whereas like when I'm watching a movie, I feel like it's happening to me and I'm just like taking it in. Like I'm way more likely to put down a scary book and not continue with it because I can't handle the content than I am to turn off a scary show or movie.
Oh,
Like I just
okay.
let it happen
Oh,
to me.
interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. You think
Mhm.
it's because you're seeing a visual story rather than you making it up in your head?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like my imagination is way worse than anything they could show me. Although I did almost throw up during American Horror Story this past week, which was like okay, but
Yeah, no,
yeah.
I mean, that's exactly why I kind of avoid it because my imagination kind of runs wild with a whole
Mhm.
bunch of horrible things that could
Mhm.
I always think of like, what if this actually happened to me and what would I do? Like, so
Yeah.
they're irrational fears, definitely.
Mhm.
And so that's why I just avoid it altogether because I know that I couldn't handle it. Like my sister, did you see Krampus?
No.
So my
See, I
sister,
couldn't do that.
my sister, her cousin, he's my cousin too. My cousin, my sister, and my dad, and my uncle, I think, all went to go see Krampus, and I don't know how they roped my sister into doing this. And she's like, a few years younger than me, and the next like 2 nights, she couldn't be in her room by herself. She slept
Mhm.
in my parents' room as like a
Yeah.
16-year-old. I don't know how long ago this was, but um as an older
Yeah.
teen, she did that, and I was like, God, I could not. Yeah, like that would be my fear as well. I had to sleep in another room because a spider was in the room, and that's a physical thing.
Yeah.
I just couldn't reach the stupid spider the other day. Anyway, yeah.
Well, when Paranormal Activity came out, that was like a whole new
Oh, yeah.
genre type
Mhm.
thing. And because it was so low budget, like in my mind, and I know it's probably like all editing, but I never like researched it. But like I could not figure out how they were doing the things that happened. Like
Right.
in,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And that like fear of like what is happening as I'm sleeping was like way too much for me. And I remember because like I said, me and my dad watched scary movies together all the time, so he would like mess with me all the time.
Oh.
And so when I like came back from Paranormal Activity, I would like sat in my driveway and I had to call my dad and be like please don't. Like I was so like emotionally just ruined and psychologically ruined from Paranormal Activity, which is like stupid, but even now like I could not watch those
Right. Yeah.
again. it was too much for me. And my dad laughed, but I'm like, well, did you watch them? And he's like, no, I'm not watching that. So
Yeah, because that's like quote unquote found footage, you know? So it's
yeah,
like if I put a camera on myself in the middle of the night, that's my own fucking paranormal activity, you know?
I know.
Like I couldn't do that. Have you ever
That
seen
is
Marble
like too
Hornets?
scary. No.
It's the Slender Man YouTube series. They're really interesting because that's all found footage too, but the character in that, I say character, it's supposed to be real. Theoretically it
Hmm.
happened, but he would film himself at night because he thought it was Slender Man basically outside his window. They called him something
See, I
else, but
can't handle that. Like the like found footage um genre that popped up, like I can't do
it's
that.
because we
That is like
film.
too much for me.
It's
Yeah, it's because we film, but also because like I'm heavy into the conspiracy theories.
oh
So
yeah.
anytime it was like based on a true story, I'm like, oh my God. Like this is not okay. Like I remember I saw, oh man, what's it called? The Fourth Kind. Is that what that one was called? About the aliens? But
I
that
have no
was
idea.
found footage too. And they like came out, but not came out into the theater, but like on the screen before the movie started, like the actor came out and was like, this is based on like a collection of, stuff. And I was like, what? And then at the very end, basically, I don't know, it's like about aliens, and that movie messed me up too. But then at the end, it was like really disturbing because the lady was like channeling the alien or something, and they were asking it questions, and basically it was like, I am God, and I like shit my pants. Like I could not handle that because I'm like, what? And it's found footage. So
Yeah.
it took me a really long time, and I know it's gonna sound stupid, to like come to the realization that like maybe the found footage is not real.
Right, yeah. Maybe it's not
It
real.
really did. Like it took me, especially after that one, because I think that was the first um like actual one that was like, no, this is based on real like evidence, and the pieces of footage that you see like interlaced throughout the movie is like real footage, where I was like, wait, what? How is the government allowing this?
Right, exactly. Like, oh god. And I mean, we'll talk more about conspiracy theories because that's what our next
Yeah.
episode's going to be about, right? Is that the next one?
Yes.
Oh, you're so
I'm
excited about
excited.
that. But yeah, no, it's just, I mean, I think horror is like it can be a very vast genre because it can include so many different things. You know, you have the
Mhm.
paranormal, you have zombies, you have the psychological stuff, you have all the gore, you know, you can do a lot of different things with it, um but it's cool. I guess I don't know what I was going to say.
Yeah, I
God,
mean,
it's so late. It's only
it
8:18. It's
is
not
really
late.
cool,
Yeah.
but I don't know. Sometimes I do just wonder, like, are we ever gonna get to a point with something where it's like, whoa, that's too far
No, I
type
don't think
thing?
so. I
You
think
don't think so?
the genre will always be pushed and because you always have to try to be original enough to be good.
Yeah.
I think you can say that. You have to be original enough to be good with a lot of different things, but I think especially with just how insane can you get with the torture and the psychological stuff that you can do through a screen. I think that'll always be pushed. I don't think
So,
there's ever going to be a point where it isn't until they start doing guerrilla footage where they're actually killing people. I don't think it's ever going to be.
ugh.
I don't think it's
I
ever going
hope,
to be
because
not.
I mean, I was gonna say is like, as the line keeps getting, as people keep towing the line and inadvertently pushing that line, further and further, do you think that we are becoming like desensitized
Oh, absolutely.
as that's happening? Yeah.
Yeah, I think we as we'll say American society are getting so desensitized to a lot of different things. I mean,
Mm.
violence in general. Like, you know, with the shootings that have been going on with the past, oh God, the statistics with this past year alone, with how many shootings there have been and deaths, because, you know, it is insane. But I think we can't allow ourselves to be desensitized. It's really hard to, because we can't have the mentality of like, this is just a thing that happens, which I think is a lot of, I
Yeah.
think is what something that happens. And that's just, this is the real world. We're trying to, let me pull it back. With horror, what was the question again?
It's like as horror keeps towing the line of like how much is too much, do you think that we're getting like desensitized as that line keeps getting pushed? Because if like we're never going to cross that line, probably, then what if it does get like what if we do get pushed to that point where it's like so desensitized that the only thing that is okay is like that footage of, let's live stream a freaking murder or
Yeah.
something and
No,
broadcast it to
well,
the
I mean,
theaters. That's the deep web, but
oh God, what was the? I think as movies start becoming more realistic with their horror, I think this season American Horror Story affects viewers so much is because of how real it is and how serious it is with the current topics that are going on in American lives right now.
mhm.
Um,
So do you think, because I know there was a lot of controversy, like, should there be an episode that opens with a mass shooting? Do you think that if there hadn't just been one in Las Vegas, that it would have gotten so much controversy surrounding the episode?
um, no, I don't think so. I think, um, I think they should still air it,
Yeah.
um, because that is definitely making a statement about, you know, literally an American Horror Story that just happened this past week,
Yeah.
you know. And
Mhm.
so you know, I think it still would have gotten, I think this whole season's still getting flack because of everything that's been going on. I think regardless of if what happened in Las Vegas happened, I still think a mass shooting scene would have still gotten flack because, well, I mean, I don't know, did the school shooting scene from the first season get a lot of controversy around it? Because that was the first season, you
Um,
know, that's really
yeah,
pushing it
that
for a
was the
first
first
season.
season. And I know that, I mean, that episode really is pretty intense. Even going back, that's one of my favorite seasons, is the first one, but that episode is still like pretty hella
Mm-hmm.
when it happens and everything. But I know that like Ryan Peters, Ivan Peters had commented and said that like his mom and family couldn't watch the episode because it was like too much for them.
Mm-hmm.
But that was all I really saw on it. I remember being shocked when I read the article that there was, because I wasn't watching the season as it was going. I watched
Mm-hmm.
it after the fact. And I remember being shocked that there was a school shooting episode. And they described it as being like very, very intense and graphic. And I would agree with that. It was crazy.
I'm trying to
So
remember.
to know that Ryan Murphy had a mass shooting episode planned, I'm not surprised. I am a little surprised that he decided to edit it and make it less graphic. So I am slightly, I know it's bad, but I'm kind of intrigued as to what the full scene would have been, because just seeing like how he's pushing this season, I can only imagine what
Right.
it would have been. But he said that he edited it so that most of the violence occurs off screen now,
Mm-hmm.
because in the wake of everything, he doesn't know like if someone watching could have been someone that was affected by what happened in Las Vegas, and he does not want to, feed into any emotional distress that they could be getting, which I'm like, really, Ryan Murphy? You just showed 9 people shooting someone point blank in the freaking skull close up with an industrial nail gun. That was very emotionally distressing and intense to watch. But I understand where he's coming from.
Yeah, I definitely. I mean, I think if the shooting just didn't happen, I think that the full scene definitely would have been released. I think that it's considerate of him to
Mhm.
do that in the wake of the what had happened.
Yeah.
But I couldn't tell you if it was necessary or not. You know what I mean? Because
Mhm.
we are across the country. We are like affected by it. Emotionally,
Mhm.
I was affected by it. But I didn't know anyone who was there. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like,
Mhm.
I still don't think I could have watched a scene like that so close to, you know,
Yeah.
the event that happened. But I don't know what I'm trying to say. Wow, my mind is so lost. I'm so sorry. We
You're
spent all day
fine.
in the theater, and so I'm kind of lost. But yeah. In general, I don't think.
You Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
what were you
no,
gonna
go
say?
ahead. In general.
Oh yeah, I think that in general, I don't think that the genre will ever push any sort of limits. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I think it's always going to be.
Mhm.
I don't think there's ever going to be anything where we push the line because for some reason American society can accept anything to do with horror in general, but we
Yeah,
can't. But like the comment I made earlier, but we can't see
that
LGBT
is so
people on screen. We
interesting.
can't,
Yeah,
you know, we can't see
I
anything
don't
like
know.
that.
It's so strange because it's like you would think that like some things would just be off limits. Like you would think that like maybe because I was telling Josh that I think one of my things that I really can't handle is like anything with animals. So
Mhm.
bringing up American Horror Story again, but like right in their opening sequence, they show a dog that is like obviously dead. Like
Mhm.
right in the opening, like their intro sequence or whatever. And then a couple episodes ago, they showed like a guinea pig got put in a microwave. And I was like, oh my God. Like, that is bad. That's
Yeah.
just wrong. But I know that that would have been like way more controversial years ago. I remember like animals used to be really, really, really taboo, and a lot of movies would have to come right out and say like animals are not being harmed. But then once that became like common knowledge, like, oh yeah, we're seeing this happening, but I know that like animals probably aren't being harmed, that now
Right.
it's not as taboo. And now I think that like the one thing is like anything with children. It's
I was just
very
about to
rare.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's very, very rare to see anything happen to children in horror movies.
I think that's why in in it, the
Mhm.
most famous scene in the book isn't in the either of the movies. Even back then, you can psychologically torture a child all you want, but bring up anything to do sexually is
Yeah,
just
I
so
think
horrible, which it is in general.
yeah.
You know, I wouldn't
Well,
want
I
to see it
mean,
on
it
screen.
is actually getting a lot of flack for that scene, the remake, because in the book, they allude to the fact that, I mean, spoilers for it, I guess. I haven't seen the remake, but in the book, they allude to the fact that Georgie's arm is like ripped off or something like that. I don't
Right.
know, in the opening scene. And in the original, they cut it right before that happens, but apparently, and I don't know because I haven't seen it, but apparently in this new remake, they show it. And it's
Right. Yeah.
like incredibly graphic because it's like a young child that has been established as nothing but innocent is in sheer terror and pain and suffering and has their arm ripped off.
Yeah. And like,
So
what does
I
that
know that was
do?
getting a lot.
Yeah. Was it The Shining that the kid didn't know what they were filming?
Was it?
I
Oh, I'll have to
feel
research
like
that.
that was that movie.
Maybe.
I want to say that there was whatever child actor was in a really famous horror movie. It has to have been The Shining. They're in the
And
hotel,
he
right?
didn't know. Oh yeah,
He
I
and he
remember
didn't
like hearing
know that
something about
they
that.
were filming a horror
Like a
movie.
horror movie. Yeah.
Because, like,
Or
what does that do to the
something.
kid? Kids already say creepy stuff already. Like,
Yeah. And that
this,
movie is messed up. And what about like The Exorcist? That's like you know, arguably the most famous horror movie of all time. And that centers around a young girl. Like, and everything. And that movie is hella messed up. I saw that movie for the first time a few years ago, and I will never watch that movie again. That one got me too.
yeah, no, it's
So
kind of
that's
crazy.
really interesting too. But
Yeah, like,
weren't you saying that you saw something on Tumblr?
oh,
You
okay. Well, because we are coming close to the to the end of the show, I will round out with saying what my this is a little bit of humor, so we're gonna lighten the show a little
okay?
bit. But have you seen any of the posts of people shipping Pennywise from the new movie and Pennywise
With
from
the
the old movie
Oh no, I thought you were gonna say Pennywise from
and
the
the
new movie
Babadook?
with the
I'm like, can you stop
Yes, with the
it?
Babadook. I love that, but I have
Like,
not seen anyone shipping both of the Pennywise
yes, or like
characters.
I
But I
keep
mean,
seeing
I
maybe it's
ship
just this one person I follow, but like
I
all of their
ship
art lately.
everyone and everything with Tim Curry's Pennywise. I love
The
him.
only Tim Curry I like is him from Clue or him from Rocky Horror.
Rocky Horror
But like it's
and Pennywise.
excuse me. But it kind of
I love
reminds
him.
me of, the Pennywise whatever thing that they're doing, like Pennywise shipping themselves
Mhm.
with the old version and the new version. It kind of reminds me of when the Lorax came out and literally there was no other person in the movie for the main character to like be shipped with, that they shipped him with himself. So like in the
I did
beginning,
not see
have you ever
that.
seen the Lorax? Have you ever seen the
Uh-uh.
Lorax? Okay, so the Onceler is like the main guy in it, and so
Yeah.
he's when he's young and he's like innocent and just trying to make a living in the beginning before he turns crazy and rich. So he's that version of himself, and then when he's the rich Onceler, when he's making all this money and like greedy and shit, that's a separate Onceler, and they ship them together. This was a phenomenon that happened on the internet. It was very short lived because it was creepy. As you can see. I'm like, at least can't you ship the Onceler with Lorax? Like, I don't like the Oncelers thing, and that just this Pennywise thing is what's reminding me of it. I think it's gonna be very short
That is
lived, but
really
that's
interesting.
pushing horror too far.
That is too far. I
It's
draw
too
the
far.
line at shipping Pennywise with Pennywise.
I don't
But
know what that's
Pennywise and the Babadook.
or my
Babadook.
OTP.
Yeah, they're my OTP. They're
See,
like the couple of the century.
we started over the summer. We started not this past summer. It was when I did summer theater. We started watching the Babadook, but we had to stop it. And I never
Yeah.
saw the end of it,
I
so I don't
haven't
know how it
ever
ends.
watched it, but I know a couple people that have. I don't know. I heard that it's really intense,
Yeah,
so or
I don't
something.
know.
There's like some scenes that are like, what the hell? So
Yeah, no, I know. I had
I
to close
never
my eyes.
watched it because it's actually been quite a while since I've ventured into scary movies.
Yeah, me
I
too.
don't know,
I couldn't even tell
but
you
yeah.
the last full because I looked up the name. The last full horror film I saw was Oculus, and it was about that big mirror. You know the one I'm talking
Oh
about?
yeah, I didn't see
I
that.
I liked that
Well,
one.
maybe I did.
It
Yeah,
had a
I know
sad
what you're
ending,
talking about.
but I liked it. Um, but that had no like very few jump scares, but that was like a decent movie just in itself,
Hmm.
And then Your Next, which I also didn't finish, but I liked the beginning of it. I
Hmm.
don't know. I'm pretty sure it was like all these people were getting killed in this mansion, and then like the killers were all outside it, and so like this one badass chick tried to like save them all. But I never saw the end of that one. But it had a female lead in it, so feminism, right? So
Yeah,
right. Anyway,
I
no, but I don't watch.
saw. I remember I saw Insidious, and that
Mm.
movie messed me up because the scare was a different style than anything I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, I didn't watch scary movies for a while. And then I saw Sinister, which is like the same creators, but not the same plot. It's not like a sequel, it's a separate
Right.
movie. And I went with like a bunch of people to see it. And I remember being like, I don't know, because it wasn't people I was close with. So I was like, all right, this will be fine, I guess. But then I ended up being so scared and so traumatized from Insidious that I just cried through the entire movie.
Oh
And
no.
then, but like they didn't know because I wasn't like sobbing or anything, but I was like, I should not have done this. So like I didn't even watch the movie. And then when we were in college, and that was in mine and Josh's first apartment, so it was a flat
Yeah.
it was Casa Loma,
Oh,
but it
okay.
was by the townhouses, but it was a flat.
Okay.
And we were like right on the corner. So like people would be walking to the cabin, the bar that was behind
Right
our
there.
complex, and would cut like right in front of our apartment, like not even in the road or anything. Like they would be like in our bushes. And I was always like, why the heck are they walking so close to our apartment? But this night, specifically, I remember I was like really upset, obviously. Then I'm driving back to the apartment, and four consecutive streetlights turned out as I drove under them, and I like lost it. Like I almost
Oh
had to pull the
man.
car over because that was just like too much. And then I got home and I was so scared, and I was telling Josh about it. And I remember we were in like our living room, and I was telling him, and right as I was telling about the streetlights, someone must have like walked past the apartment and banged on our wall,
Oh my
and I like lost my freaking mind. I was so done. That was
god.
like one of the worst nights, and I will never forget that. That was like the scariest thing that ever happened
Uh,
in the apartment. And I was like, why on that night? Why right then? Like, why? What has led to these events happening? What in
and we'll
my
talk
life
about
has
that next
led me
time on
to this
Conspiracy
moment?
Cast. Oh man. It's kind of,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I can't. I just can't. And as Halloween approaches, I'm going to be able to can't
Mm.
less. And less and less. uh, oh man.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's just crazy. No, this was a good episode topic. Thank you for suggesting it. This week's suggestion comes from Becca for a topic.
I thought it would be interesting, and it was.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
glad that we
totally.
had a lot to talk about because I was worried.
Me
Because
too.
then, like, as I was thinking about it, I was like, oh my gosh, all I have to bring to the table are these vague, open-ended statements as
Yeah, it's
well.
kind of.
But I think it worked out.
Yeah, I think that this was a good conversation of something that I really don't participate in, and I seem to have a lot to say.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. It's been a hard
I'm
week.
looking forward to next week
Yes, yeah.
for our conspiracy cast.
Yeah, I need to go
So,
and look up some conspiracies that aren't
hmm
like, is Sasquatch real? Here's the footage of a blurry man. Like,
oh, please bring that one to the
all
table.
right, that's the only one I'll bring. That and the Bernsteins. That's all.
That's like a Mandela effect, though. So that's
Yeah.
a different thing. That's like not really a conspiracy theory because that shit's real.
We can't talk about the Bernsteins because that's real.
It's too
Mandela
real.
effect. All
I
right.
believe that. But anyway, that's a topic for next week.
Well, that's okay. You believing that as a conspiracy,
Yeah.
so we can talk about it on the conspiracy
Oh, yeah.
cast.
Well, then we need to like if we're gonna talk about that, we have to talk about Mandela effects, but only real ones because people are getting too crazy with them. So I got a couple real good ones that we can
Okay,
talk about. So,
please do. I'm gonna find some more. Some I don't know a lot about conspiracies, but I have to look at them during the day because I will scare myself if I look at them right now at 8:30 at night. It's
yeah.
dark out.
So, on a closing note,
Yes.
is H. Holmes and Jack the Ripper the same person? Tune in next week
Right.
to
Exactly.
find out.
All right. Well, thanks for listening this week, guys. Hope you enjoyed listening to us talk about spooky things, spoopy things,
Yeah.
and we will see you next week.
Yay.
Yay.
Bye.
Bye.